Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 171. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, the first generation or second generation of Co-op Mode, where my previous co-host, Mark, is now on retirement. He's enjoying life in Atlantic Canada, about to go on a vacation. So, Mark, Godspeed, have fun. You got Donkey Kong Bananza to keep you and Finn happy. We're so happy that you're taking a break. But I am joined by some awesome people tonight, filling those shoes of the Canadian, and that is Mr. Matt Kennedy, MKen10, streamer extraordinaire, making me watch him go crazy and playing some fun games. Matt, how are you doing tonight?
Good, man. Those are, I don't know what Mark's shoe size was, but those are some pretty big shoes to fill. So I hope tonight I can do some justice.
Well, I'm not sure if you'll fit the Nintendo criteria of it, but that's why we brought somebody not even better, but just a great accompaniment to you, Matt, and that is Mr. Brian Shea, the executive editor at Game Informer, also host of All Things Nintendo podcast. So, Brian, thank you so much for showing up. You are a Minnesotan now. I think we've deemed it. I'm also a Minnesotan. Game Informer was a heart of the gaming industry in Minnesota, and you're bringing it back. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is exciting. We've kind of been kicking around having me on the show for a little bit now, so I'm so happy we were finally able to make it happen, and I'm so excited that that Game Informer is back. That was kind of like a not only a heart of the industry, but a heart of my life. Like even before I joined GI back in 2015, I grew up reading Game Informer alongside things like Nintendo Power and Game Pro and EGM. Like I would get all of them from like either subscriptions or from like, my local library, or my school library had like EGM. That was how I primarily consumed that one. But like, every time I went to like a grocery store, I was picking up like the latest Game Pro and, having a Game Informer subscription. So like to have it closed down and also like not only lose my job and lose the ability to work with all these people that I love, but then on top of that, lose my favorite magazine. It was like a triple whammy there. So like, I am very excited as well to be back.
Well, excellent. So before we get into, we're going to talk more about Game Informer, kind of tell everybody what it's up to. They need to learn a little bit more about Brian. So this is going to lead me to 3 questions. And Matt, if you have one for Brian, these are really hard questions. So we'll see how Brian does. So Brian, what was the first gaming magazine you ever bought?
Oh man, first gaming magazine. I mean, do strategy guides count?
Those were a thing. I still think they still make them, maybe PDFs. I don't know.
Man, it might have been. If it's a strategy guide, then it was probably like a Super Mario World strategy guide. Like my first console I ever got was the Super NES, and I hope I didn't cannibalize one of your other questions. No. So I got a Super NES for Christmas, like right after it came out. It was like the old like Christmas Story surprise where it was like, hey, like that's all the presents. Wait, what's that behind? Like, why is the couch pulled out like that? Why don't you go look behind the couch, Brian? And I look, and it's a Super Nintendo, which was like the number one thing I wanted. Because up till that point, I'd only been able to play the NES at like aunts and uncles' houses, or like neighborhood kids, like their houses. So I was like already like well on my way towards like gaming obsession. So to have an SNES, which was like the new hotness at the time, it was just like, I was just jumping in with both feet. Up till that point, it was basically like at my house, it was like the PC, like we had like some Sesame Street game that like, I had outgrown long ago. And like, I think we had like Yo Noid, like the pizza game. What was that? Was it Pizza Hut or Domino's?
Domino's, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we had that on the PC, as well as like a Sesame Street game that I had outgrown, and maybe a Wheel of Fortune game that was like very rudimentary. But like, yeah, that was like my real gaming console. And I think I jumped in with both feet with that because like we were out at a store, and I remember like begging my mom for this thing called Mario Madness. I don't know if it's a very famous strategy guide now, because not only did it have a full strategy guide from start to finish of Super Mario World, it also had the Mario comic that was like the Adventures of Super Mario Brothers, I think it was called.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's become very valuable, actually. And I think I have that copy still, but like the cover's all ripped up and everything. So you can actually buy the comic standalone on Amazon now. And I did that, and it's so weird and like campy and everything, but I love it. So like I recently thumbed through it and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a formative memory for me. So if that counts, that is my answer. If it doesn't count, honestly, it's probably, I think I have like a pretty early memory of like getting like a Game Pro with like one of the early Mortal Kombat games on it. Maybe like something along those lines, or like a very early Nintendo Power, like in the SNES, or maybe even the late NES days. But yeah, that's probably my answer. I don't know the exact issue though.
We won't hold it against you, but the fact that you were able to find that comic again, that's awesome. Matt, do you have a question?
I don't want to steal from you, but being that we're all in games, and you probably do so much, like in terms of like even reviewing games and writing about games. I just want to know, like, do you have that one game that is like total comfort food, that like no matter what it is, whether you're in a slump, whether you're just like, oh my gosh, work is gaming and now I want to actually like game for fun, quotes. What's that comfort food game that no matter what you love to go back to?
I have several, and I actually have it's perfect synergy between me promoting Game Informer as well, because in the issue that we are launching this week, that actually launched as of the launch of this episode, it launched yesterday digitally. You can read my opinion piece on how joy is enough, right? Like I think joy is reason enough is the title that I wrote for an opinion piece in the latest issue of Game Informer. And in that, I talk about how, like, I feel professionally obligated to keep up with all of like the biggest, most recent releases, right? Not only from like professional reasons, but like social media. I want to take part in like the zeitgeist of like, oh, Clair Obscur let's all talk about that. And what I've played of Clair Obscur is fantastic. What I've played of Doom the Dark Ages is so much fun. But I got this itch around like, I want to say like February, that I wanted to play Breath of the Wild again. That's my favorite game of all time. I've replayed it twice, or I've played it twice. The first when it first came out, another time 4 years after that, and now we're just over 4 years after that. So it's almost like a 4-year cadence that it seems like I'm replaying this game. And I've been playing that, and it's like I have this like feeling of guilt of like, I want to be up to date on all the latest games. Why am I devoting all this time to this like game that at its minimum is going to take me 60 hours, right? And maximum, it's going to be like 150 hours. So like, and then I also want to jump right into Tears of the Kingdom after that, because then I want to get myself ready for the next Hyrule Warriors game that comes out later this year, allegedly. I don't know. We still don't have a date on that one, I don't think. But like, so that's one of them, is Breath of the Wild. And I've been really struggling to like kind of push aside that feeling of guilt of like, I need to stay up to date with like all the latest releases, because like I also want to be able to talk about those games and all that stuff. But like I'm kind of, the way I frame it in the opinion piece is I am like trying to treat my hobby more like a hobby instead of like a checklist to be completed. And because that's typically how I've done it since I've started doing this full time, where it's like, all right, well, like I would love to replay like Mass Effect, the entire trilogy of that, but I really should probably play this game that everybody's talking about, because I should have like an educated opinion on it when we get to the end of the year. But like, I'm trying to quiet those voices. So I'm doing Breath of the Wild right now. Other examples I would say are like, I mean, Ocarina of Time's my second favorite game of all time. I haven't replayed that in a while, but
there's a theme here.
that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, those are the two Zelda games I'm going to say. But Super Mario World is a good one. That's one that I can fire up whenever. Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Pokemon Red and Blue is another one where it's like, and like if they had Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Switch eShop, that would obviously be like a great way to experience those games. I'm less high on Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, even though it's like technically remakes of that generation. And then the other one I would say is Final Fantasy X. Those are games that I've played through so many times I've lost count of. I mean, Breath of the Wild, I can tell you this is my third playthrough, because it's a relatively recent game. Final Fantasy X is probably like 8 or 9 times I've played through. Pokemon Red and Blue is probably approaching double digits as well. Mario World is absolutely in double digits. And then like in terms of games that like you don't replay, you just like play them because there's no real like end state to these games, it's going to be something like Rock Band.
Oh yeah,
Like, those are games I could just plug
That
in my
is
guitar at any
Fun
time.
party games.
So much fun. And I spent an ungodly amount of money on the Rock Band series over the. I mean, Guitar Hero too. I used to play competitively Guitar Hero in college. I'm still pretty good at those games, but like it's clear that my best days are behind me. I mean, obviously, like nobody's playing them as much as they used to back in like 2008 or whatever. But like, you know, I still love firing those games up. I have like something like 2,500 DLC songs. So
Wow.
like I don't want to do the math, but like those were anywhere from like $2 to $4 a song. So let's not dwell on that too much. But again, that was over the course of like, you know, almost 20 years that I spent that money. Because Rock Band DLC I think just ceased like 2 years ago. So like it was spread out. It wasn't like I dropped like that much money in one sitting or whatever. But yeah, those are my comfort food games.
I just want to add,
Used to be Overwatch as well, but I've fallen off that
wow.
pretty hard.
I just want to add, like you mentioned that Breath of the Wild seems to be a 4-year cadence and you're on your third playthrough. And like, it's kind of like blowing my mind. Are we saying that game came out 8 years ago?
Yeah. 2017.
Wow. So I just want to heads up, or not heads up, but you know, big shout out to Breath of the Wild. So my son upstairs watching himself right now is a huge Breath of the Wild fan. He's 9 years old and he has like 250 hours in Breath of the Wild. He's 9. He beat that game on his own when he was like 7. So we're huge Breath of the Wild fans. So love those answers. And it's just, I'm so glad that you could find the time to go back and just sit down and enjoy it as a hobby too.
Now, I will say right now I'm about probably 15 hours into this playthrough of Breath of the Wild. So I've done like, I think I'm approaching my second dungeon right now, or second Divine Beast. I know people get upset when you call them dungeons because it's like they're not traditional dungeons. It's like, all right, I'll give you that. But like, I have stopped that completely in favor of Donkey Kong Bonanza because I'm having so much fun. I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Oh,
you're muted.
That would be help. It makes me feel older because my son is a sophomore at the University of Minnesota now. He played Breath of the Wild at 11. So yeah, thanks, Matt, for making me feel old. Yeah, it's a great time to revisit a lot of those games because now the Switch 2 has improved those games. They've got extra content if you have NSO or you wanted to buy the content. So it's a great time to do it. I'm glad you didn't play it too early before the Switch 2 came out because you're like, yeah.
That was my thought process, right? I was just like, you know what? Like, even before they did the reveal, I was like, look, like the rumor was like 2 years ago at Gamescom, there was like behind closed doors demos of Breath of the Wild running at 60 frames per second. I'm going to hold off and see like if Nintendo, when they do the reveal event, announces that like those games are going to run better. And sure enough, they did. So I was like, all right, I will hold off and not play Breath of the Wild until that comes out. And that's when I spent my time playing like Doom the Dark Ages, Clair Obscur, which, you know, I got about 20 hours into that. So I have a thorough understanding of Clair Obscur. I wish I had enough time in the day to play all these games that I want to, because like that game like really feels like it was tailor made for me, because I love Persona. I love Lost Odyssey. I love Final Fantasy X.
I was going to say Final Fantasy X, you named it.
And I used to speak French. So like all of these things coalesce into like the perfect game for me, even though I don't speak French anymore. I know the curse words that they use in that game. That's for sure. So like, yeah, like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, it is like tailor made for me because it's like basically like Final Fantasy X and Lost Odyssey had a baby and like they let Persona 5 like babysit it for a month or something like
with
that's
Mario RPG.
With Mario RPG,
you know,
yeah.
Mario RPG was the boyfriend that came over when no one was looking.
Exactly. Let me spice up your combat, baby. Yeah. Well, very cool. Last question. This one's hope you be faster. What's a game you were so stoked for? You're so excited. You got, and you're like, oh, I made a mistake, or mistakes were made.
Oh man. That's a really tough one, actually. I'm looking at like my cover stories that I've written because I've been pretty stoked on all of those. I mean, the easy answer is probably Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I am a staunch defender of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Actually, like I think that is one of the better Pokemon games. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Like I told you, Pokemon Red and Blue is one of my comfort food games. But just the way that ran on Switch 1 at launch, like it ran so poorly. I took a full point off of our 10-point scale from that game. It was going to be a 9.25, but I gave it an 8.25. And like, it's like, that's still a good score, but like the performance issues of that game were inexcusable. I mean, another answer, if you want to go like just like this game didn't pan out particularly well, I would say the Callisto Protocol. Like that game was another cover story that I wrote for Game Informer, and I was super stoked on that. And I thought like the vision was there. It seemed like a worthy kind of successor to Dead Space. And then it came out right around the time of the Dead Space remake, which a lot of people really loved. And then the Callisto Protocol just kind of landed with a thud. And it seems like there was some development issues with that game, which is really unfortunate because there was a lot of promise with that. Trying to think of other ones that were just like, oh, this just really did not resonate with me. I mean, Sonic Superstars was kind of one that like I was like thinking like, oh, this could be like the true successor to Sonic Mania, which is something I've been waiting for since 2017. And it, like, I don't know, the level design was a little bland or frustrating. The boss battles were not great. The art style I thought was pretty good, pretty solid. I don't know, it didn't land with me the way that I had hoped it would. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any like catastrophic answers, unfortunately, aside from like Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, which was like the Kinect game that they put out. That was like legitimately the worst review score I've ever given. It was back before Game Informer. I reviewed that for a website that I was running, and I gave it a 1 out of 5 because it was so busted. And the only reason it got a 1 out of 5 is because I later learned that our site had the capabilities to award a half star. I did not realize you could. I would have done that because it was so thoroughly busted. But like, that was more of a curiosity than something I was excited for.
Sure. Okay. I was going to say on the Pokemon front, my ex co-host Mark, he is a staunch defender of Pokemon. We have a game ongoing that's called Todd because I joke that I'm the Pokemon master, even though I'm not. So he makes me guess Pokemons, things like that. But I always joke that is like the franchise that makes the most money. It's all this money, and they put so little into their games versus like other developers where you can see where they put the money. It's like we're too busy putting the money in other places, which is just sad. But I'm hopeful though that because we're going to get a Nintendo or Pokemon, I guess a celebration day.
Pokemon Presents.
There you go. Where Pikachu is going to be a DJ apparently, and you're going to get some news. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, and hopefully it's all good for Switch 2 with Pokemon. So
actually, there is one more answer that comes to mind.
Okay.
Marvel's Avengers. You know, I still say that like the single player content in that game is pretty good and the story was fun enough to play through.
Yep.
But like that's not the meat of that game, unfortunately. Like the meat of that game is the co-op, which is like the most bland PvE content I've ever played. And like there's one thing that I love like as much as like Mario and Sonic and Zelda, and it's like Marvel. Like I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I grew up reading like X-Men comics, and you know, I had such an adoration for Marvel. One of my like early memories in high school was going to see the first Spider-Man movie with a bunch of friends and just like having an absolute blast and being like, oh, well, this is like my personality now. And to have a game that has all the Avengers and like having like different play styles, having a cool story involving like characters that we haven't really gotten in the MCU, like I was so stoked for that. And I was like, everybody was saying like, oh, this looks terrible. This looks so bad. The live service stuff looks like just like a disaster. And I was trying so hard to see the good in it and just being like, all right, well, I've seen some cool stuff. Like there was undoubtedly some very cool stuff that they showed off pre-release. But then I remember playing it at Gamescom 2019 and being like, something just doesn't feel right here. And I told them that, and they were like, okay, well, we'll adjust it. Like we're getting feedback from like press that's playing it. So I told them like, hey, like Thor and Iron Man should be like the two easiest characters to translate. Like, you know, you had the God of War combat director on this game, and Thor, who has a very similar moveset to Kratos in the God of War reboot, just didn't feel right. And then Iron Man, like, how could you like not have Iron Man feel great? And I told them that, and they did make some adjustments from what I remember playing in 2019 to what came out, I think, in fall 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And it still just didn't pop the way that like it felt like it should. And to have like, I think it's such like a weird thing because like it's such a fine line to walk. And I think Insomniac actually nailed this with their Spider-Man games of you are playing a superhero. You don't want to feel weak. Like you have to build up your character in order to like be effective in combat. So like when you are Captain America and it takes like 40 punches to take down an enemy.
Minions.
Yeah, this is not a boss battle.
No.
This is like
or Hulk. Even Hulk is the worst case,
Yeah.
right? Because you're like, he could destroy them, and yet it's painful.
You want to feel powerful when you're playing a superhero, and that game just fell flat in that regard. And I still think there is a good game buried underneath all of the nonsense, but there was just too much nonsense surrounding it. And like, I think that it's like an 8.5, but then when you take into account all of the terrible or bland or boring or repetitive or monotonous elements, you got to drop it down further than that. So like even though I was like such a mark for that game, and I was still keeping my optimism alive up until launch, I have to admit that it was a pretty big disappointment. And it was even further highlighted when they put out their Spider-Man DLC that was PlayStation exclusive. And you compared that to like how Insomniac Spider-Man plays, and it's just like, man, they had a fundamental misunderstanding of how Spider-Man should control.
Crystal Dynamics should have not made that game. They should let them do something different.
Or let them make a single player game. Because I think that if they took all of their resources and focused it in on a single player experience, it would have been great.
Could have done a Black Widow game. I mean, if they think about where their wheelhouse is, or yeah.
Was that not the game that when it was like first revealed, that teaser, it was like the Avengers Project or something, right? Like they honed over like the Captain America shield and like the iron and I even remember freaking the F. And the moment they revealed what it was that like, I never played it. I never put a second into it.
Like, honestly, the single player stuff, I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest thing you've ever played and it's like worthy of the Avengers license. But it is, I think, worth playing through if you were a big Marvel fan. I see you have the Captain America shield behind you, and like
I'm a big Marvel fan, so maybe, knowing that there's some single player aspects to it, maybe I should.
There's summertime. There's a full single player campaign. And then there's also like a Wakanda like story expansion and all of the DLC characters, which the roster actually ended up getting pretty big by the end. Like it's all free. So like I don't know like what the status of like it being on the storefront is, because like they ended
buy it, I think, still for $5. It's very affordable.
Sold.
Yeah, it's well worth it. And they did I think they eventually just unlocked all of the DLC because you no longer buy it. So like all the costumes, so you could get the costumes that made the characters look great and iconic versus some of the weird decisions they made and how they made them look. But
they made Captain America by default look like kind of like you took some football equipment and made a Captain America cosplay just using like your high school football locker room. Like that's how the Captain America default skin looks. But then they put out like post-launch, like, oh, here's the Winter Soldier outfit for Captain America. And here's like the Avengers Infinity War outfit for Captain America, and Iron Man, and all the different Avengers have like their iconic looks. I think they tried to sell them for $15 or $20 a pop, and then that didn't end up working out for anybody because it was only like the most diehard fans, which there were very few of, ended up purchasing those. So they just made them all free now.
Nice. Oh, I like that number.
I still think it's available, but obviously check your store where you can find it. Maybe even a physical copy. I think I might have bought a physical copy back in the day, but we'll see how that goes. So before we get into the meat of the show, Brian, really quick, in regards to kind of where Game Informer is now. Obviously, you just shipped your first issue. You've got stories on the website. So tell anybody who may be in a dark hole, because even somebody asked like, Game Informer, what's going on with them? I'm like, well, they've got new ownership, they're independent, all of these things to be, a journalistic, integrity is part of it, and doing your own thing. So tell people, like, if they aren't aware where Game Informer is and what you got planned.
Yeah. So, we were shut down of August of 2024, and at that point it seemed like, all right, well, I guess that's that. That's the end of the chapter, or that chapter for my life and for the industry and for games media. And shortly thereafter, we had this company. We had several people reach out actually about trying to acquire the brand, and this one company was particularly persistent, and our editor in chief Matt Miller worked very closely with them to try and secure the brand and the rights and everything. And they reached out and they were like, hey, like, would the team be interested in coming back if we acquired the brand? And we all kind of just assumed, like, all right, that's a long shot. And the talks kind of continued progressing, and around December of last year, it seemed like, oh, this probably is going to happen. So I still wasn't like really holding my breath, but it was like, all right, well, maybe I just kind of like, keep my eyes open on this. And sure enough, it ended up panning out, and we were hired back on in February of this year. And then we relaunched in late March, I believe March 24th of 2025. And we kind of came back with the idea of like doing everything that we were doing before but bigger and better. So our issues, for those who have received their first issue, I know that like a lot of people are still waiting, and I just got my issue last week. So they are still shipping out. Once they kind of enter the postal system, like it's a little bit out of our control, but we're doing our best to kind of monitor the situation, getting people their issues as fast as possible. But like I got my issue last week, and I was blown away by the quality. Like we have upped the print quality, we've upped the cover quality. It feels like a premium product. So we're doing it better paper quality. We're doing it with more pages. I think we went from 80 pages to 96 pages. And we're really working with a lot of really great partners to get some of the best exclusive content and coverage that we can. So Borderlands 4 was our first cover story. And it's great to come back with a well-established studio and I think the sales of Borderlands as a franchise has like topped like 35 million units across its many entries. So, and Borderlands 4, by the way, is looking and playing phenomenal from everything that I've seen and played. I went into Borderlands 4 feeling not apathetic, but just feeling like, all right, this franchise is one that I used to love back in the Borderlands 1 and 2 days, and everything else has kind of fallen flat outside of like Tales from the Borderlands. Borderlands 4 is one of my most anticipated games of the year at this point, just because of everything I've played. Feels fantastic. So you can read all about that in the first issue. We just announced that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is our second cover story. We are currently in the process of locking in our next cover story, which I think has a lot of excitement as well. Like we're very excited to feature this game on our cover come late August, early September. So yeah, we're doing our print issue again, bigger and better than before. We have our website back up and running. We're doing day-to-day coverage over there. We're publishing reviews, previews, all those things on a daily basis. And the Game Informer Show podcast is back up and running, so you can find that in your podcast feeds. I think that if you were subscribed to it before and you didn't remove it from like your podcast app when we were shut down, like you are probably receiving new episodes. You may not even realize it.
Oh, they're back, baby. I got the notifications.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that is back. It's one of the longer running video game podcasts. So yeah, like we're doing everything that we were doing before. We're slowly but surely kind of trying to get more folks on our team as well. Like we're kind of adopting a startup mentality because we have to. We're not owned by a major corporation anymore. We're owned by a game development studio that is based in Europe. So we don't have like kind of like the corporation resources, but there's also other benefits that come with that. So we are, we're building ourselves back up. We're getting, we're back up and running, I think, in the way that we were when we were shut down. But now we're getting to a point where we are able to do things bigger and better than we were even, 4 years ago, right? Like we're bringing on some new people, hopefully very soon. And, we're working to deliver the exclusive coverage that people have come to expect from the Game Informer brand, and, doing even more than that.
Brian, I'm so excited. What I'm holding in my hand, I don't know if you can see it. Game
Oh,
Informer's
yeah.
300 launch party at Fulton Brewery. Went to that. That was amazing. I remember meeting Abby Heppy when she was there. I believe it was for, I can't remember what game it was. Was it for Little Big Planet when she was there?
Oh,
Really
man.
amazing
It might have been,
experience.
God, what was their game create? Why am I blanking on the name?
Oh, Dreams? Could've
Dreams.
been
I think it was for
It
Dreams.
could have been. Yep. So my request would be to have another get together at a local brewery in Minneapolis to have maybe a release party for your 10th or your 12th, maybe 1 year. That'd be amazing. I think that would be great. And then the other request is, I believe Paul Charchian used to do a video game podcast with several Game Informer members at KFan. Maybe you get Paul back. I know he's doing an Empire of fantasy football. I think it would be great to get Paul back on for one more time.
Hey, I love Paul. I've been on that show many times, Video Games Weekly. I've been into the K-Fan offices and the studios. Like we recorded them remotely when COVID was happening and everybody was kind of isolating. But like, I think I've been into the K-Fan studios probably 12 to 15 times to do that show. And, I've even referenced some of those conversations that we've had in like articles and everything that I was writing and podcasts I've recorded, because we've done them with some special guests as well. So yeah, absolutely would love to do a show with Charchian again.
Amazing. Well, thank you for indulging my Minnesotan Game Informer love. So with that, then we, unfortunately got to pay the bills. So we got to thank our Patreons, our Secret Friends squad, our besties, Derek Trevelyan, aka the Figure Dude, Francie, our official hairstylist of SFU, the Xbox Expansion Pass with Mr. Luke Lore, Charlie's Uncle Tim Horan, who gets our podcast on audio tapes, Friends with Benefits, John Sedorf, Brandon Myers, Corian HD, Matthew Keel, Kurt Krug, Tanya Lee, Chipotle Bear, Famous Seamus, Cam the Movie Man, J-Port New 007, Darth Prozac, Freight Conductor, and our Secret Friends Super Squad, Sean, Stella, and Henry. Nice. Thank you so much. And folks, if you're not a subscriber now, you can get your first month 50% off, or give us a trial and see if you like it. And then it's only $2 a month for ad-free benefits for all our content. Check it out. We've got some awesome interviews coming up with comic book creators. We've got actors. We've got some awesome people, and we're gonna have some more fun there. So check out patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. So with that, we get into the segment that people hate or they love because I make them make hard choices. And that's buy, rent, and return. And this week I picked the Koolest Kongs. So with Donkey Kong Bananza coming out, we realized that there are way more Kongs than I ever imagined. I looked it up, and then I found that there are Kongs in various things that have never appeared in games, but they are part of like strategy guides. So I picked Swanky Kong, Wrinkly Kong, apparently who is now a ghost, which I didn't know, which is very odd. And then Uncle, which yeah, it's very odd. And then Uncle Kong, who apparently only appeared in a Donkey Kong strategy guide. And he kind of looks kind of sketchy. Kind of like the uncle from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So there we go.
And his tie, it says UK. Yes. Representing the British listeners over here.
Oh, I'm sure they appreciate that. That's exactly what they want. The John Waters mustache. I mean, very classy looking. And Swanky looks like he's from 1922.
Yeah, he was a big movie star in the Donkey Kong country.
Absolutely.
Right, Donkey Kong Country 2. Am I right on that? I mean, I'm trying to go back. I'm trying to remember.
Kind of like Kingpin and Donkey Kong. So yeah, yes. King. There we go. So really quick, I want to hit on one of our Patreons, Matthew Keel, Infinite_Rewind. He just came out here back in the fall. I actually took him to Tilt, or it's not even called Tilt. I think it's Lit Pinball Arcade in Minneapolis. Very cool place for video games and good food. And he's really amazing. Loves music. And he says, second off, okay, he goes, glad we're doing the podcast. He goes, second off, why did you pick all the creepy criminal Kongs? I don't know. Is Wrinkly criminal? I don't know. Maybe she, she looks like a golden girl. She goes, but he's gonna go rogue, and he breaks the rules. He's gonna buy Funky Kong, renting Crinky Kong, and returning Diddy Kong, since Swinky Kong is obviously committing tax fraud while simultaneously running several Ponzi schemes, not going too big with one like Bernie Madoff. And while we're at it, he's taking too close of notes on Ted DiBiase's whole thing, Uncle Kong's crimes, and dark blah blah blah. I could keep going, but obviously he's a little obsessed with the swanky and the uncle. So there you go. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate your input. So Brian, the coolest Kong. That's what typically I just put Kong. Like, yeah, you have to figure out your own criteria. I just like coolest Kong. So, who would you buy, rent, return in regards to the coolest of the Kongs?
I'm gonna buy Swanky Kong, just because Donkey Kong, he's not fooling anybody. That is Donkey Kong in a vest and the ruffle shirt from Seinfeld. That
puffy
is
shirt. Yep.
The puffy shirt. Yeah. That is that's just Donkey Kong. That is, and he gave him a sweet cane. But I'm gonna buy him because he clearly has the riz, as the kids say, or charisma, as everybody over 25 says. And so buy, rent, and return. I'm gonna rent Uncle Kong. Because I feel like if I tried to return him, he would have somebody shoot my kneecaps out. And Wrinkly Kong, I think you need to return. Is that a female Kong?
Oh, it's a grandma.
It's a grandma. Okay. Is that Cranky Kong's like late wife or something? Like, I'm trying to figure out where Wrinkly Kong comes from, but she looks like she just went to Jazzercise. Like, and she's wearing like some sort of like, she went walking through a mall, and now I guess she has moved on to the afterlife. You said she's a ghost now?
Well, would you like her official history?
Yeah.
She's the deceased wife of Cranky Kong.
Yes!
Mother of Donkey Kong Jr. and grandmother of Donkey Kong III. Regardless of her death, likely due to old age after Donkey Kong Land 3.
Regardless of her death.
Yes. Her spirit continues participating in games and aiding the other Kongs with helpful advice. And yes, she is a spirit later on in life, and she's had many appearances. She was even in Donkey Kong Barrel Blast and Super Smash Brothers. Holy cow, she's everywhere. So check her out.
Wrinkly Kong. I'm very, very proud, in case you couldn't tell, that I surmised that
good job.
She is the wife of the only other elderly ape in the Donkey Kong franchise. Yeah, I think she's got to go. I think we're returning her.
All right. Well, Matt, you've heard Brian's takes.
Well, all right. So since Brian returned Wrinkly Kong, I'm going to go ahead and buy Wrinkly Kong. I'm investing in wisdom. Clearly the age, the grays, and the fact that she's a ghost must mean that she's got some sort of wisdom to her,
it's
right?
like a Star Wars situation where she learned how to harness
maybe
the force.
Force ghost.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe she's like a force ghost behind me, all these operations and stuff that were because everyone here seems to be like mafiosa, right? According to some of us, according to the right end. So I'm going to buy Wrinkly Kong. I'm going to rent Swanky Kong. Right? He's weird. He's glitzy. He's probably a good time.
He's got some Goro Majima vibes in the Zero.
I feel like it's kind of like in the movie The Hangover, right? That good time happened all night long, but it's then I wake up with Swanky Kong and I'm like, man, you got to go home. You have overstayed your welcome. And then I guess I'm going to return Uncle Kong because I honestly don't even know who the hell Uncle Kong is. And I haven't played too much Donkey Kong, but I played enough. I don't. He's part of a magazine that I clearly, sadly, didn't read. I don't know you, so you got to go.
He was in the strategy guide for Super Donkey Kong 2 Dixie and Diddy for the Super Famicom. So only a Japanese release.
Okay, so he showed up to the party. I'm like, did anyone invite him? No, you got to go.
So Super Donkey Kong is what they call Donkey Kong Country. So that's just Donkey Kong Country 2.
Right.
Oh, really?
Oh, Donkey Kong Country 2. That's what. Okay.
So, but only in the strategy guide, only in the Japanese strategy guide of Donkey Kong Country 2.
Right. I missed that issue. Okay.
It's an interesting take that they didn't make a Japanese version. They said, hey, we're just going to put a really sleazy looking dude in it. Which works for the franchise.
Okay.
Returned.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Let's see. So you know what? I think I'm going to make a mix. So I am going to buy Wrinkly Kong. To your point,
Wow.
anybody who's a ghost is kind of cool, right? I mean, supernatural. I mean, she was like one of the Golden Girls. We don't know how, like you said, mysterious death that they imply is mysterious. That's kind of cool. I like the mystery.
But also get ghosts out of my vicinity. I don't want ghosts.
Okay, there you go. You know, I totally get it. I totally get it. Depending on your faith and your beliefs, maybe ghosts, you know, too close to home, and your spirit should go above. I'm going to rent Swanky. No, I'm gonna no. Let's see. Did I get this right? Yeah, I'm gonna rent Swanky because he looks like a guy you kind of want around every once in a while. Like he'll do something for you. Of course, he'll want something back. That's why he's got the gold tooth. You know, he got that off somebody. You know, they knocked him down. Got it. He's got a cane. Kind of looks like the Kingpin. So you know, and he's a sharp dresser. You know, you can't say much about the rest of the Kong family. And then I'm going to return Uncle Kong because once again, he's probably wanted in several states for doing things that aren't really legal.
Yeah, Uncle Kong really is a problem. Like just looking at him, like there's nothing savory about this character.
He's probably not even the real uncle. You know what I mean? He's just that guy that everyone calls uncle.
Yeah.
And they can't figure out. It's like, wait, which one of he is it related to? And nobody at the family reunion knows. He just shows up all the time.
Yeah. He's a problem.
Like, what is it, Uncle Junior from The Sopranos? There we go. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So there we go. I do have one question. This is kind of a spoiler when you talk about Bananza. Are any of these characters in Bananza as far as you know?
As far as I know, no. But I'm also only about 10 hours into Bananza.
Well, we have something to look forward to.
Yes, there's more to discover.
Uncle Kong is somewhere to be found.
Oh yeah, so many Kongs, so many probably new Kongs too, which is great. Okay, we got our new segment. Typically we don't cover a lot of news on the show just because it's very timely. So I figured we'd do this a little bit of fun. And these are all stories from GameInformer.com. The stories will be linked in the show notes, so check it out. The first story, and then we're going to do super news done quick, meaning every one of us gets 1 minute to react to the story. So keep it concise, make your point, and we'll see if we cover everything. So the first news story is The Legend of Zelda casting was announced. This movie's coming out in 2027. Sony is producing this. It's live action. We have our two leads. We have Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. He was in The Haunting of Bly Manor and The Recycling Man, a movie I don't know. He's going to portray Link. And then we also have Bo Bregason, who played in Renegade Neil, and the Radleys. I think Renegade, it's Nell, but maybe check into if there was a Disney show called Renegade Nell, I thought, but I could be wrong. But Brian, I'll give it to your editorial staff to check that out. And I'm assuming this was a press release from Nintendo, maybe that gave you all the information. So we'll see. But Ainsworth is 16 years old and Bregason is 21 years old. So quick question before we actually get into your take on this. Is Link technically always younger than Zelda in the games?
Is he? I feel like I've always thought of Zelda as a little bit older in a lot of the games, but
thought so too.
Maybe I mean, but Bo Bregason is older, right? She's in her early 20s, and
she's 21, and Evan Ainsworth is 16.
Yeah,
young.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's consistent with how I've always pictured them in my minds, anyway. Yeah, I mean, I like the casting. I think like I didn't want, like I said this on my podcast last week. It's like I don't want like Tom Holland, as much as I enjoy Tom Holland or Timothy Chalamet playing Link. Like, you know, the go-to for we need somebody who is young coded to play a young looking character. Like I would much rather have a lesser known actor, kind of like they did with the Harry Potter franchise, right? Like they casted a bunch of young kids who didn't really have a ton of acting credits to their name. And you didn't have to worry about like seeing like, oh, this is supposed to be this character, but all I'm seeing is Tom Holland's face, right? Like that was kind of the problem with the Uncharted movie. I think the Uncharted movie is fun for what it is, but I never got past seeing Tom Holland instead of Nathan Drake. And
not Mark Wahlberg as Sully.
Mark
Mustacheless,
that was your problem?
mustacheless Mark Wahlberg.
I think Tom Holland at the very least was convincing as that character. If you can get past seeing his face as like, oh, that's Spider-Man. But Mark Wahlberg, I never stopped seeing like, oh, that's just Mark Wahlberg. That's not Sully.
Yo, Nate, tell your mother I said hi. I mean,
and then you look at with Bo Bragison, like she is giving off Zelda vibes in the picture that they use. She's even wearing the blue shirt if they're going to go with like a Breath of the Wild style story, like that. Like she could just show up like that, and you'd be like, yeah, that could be Zelda.
So really quick. So Brian, that's your minute take. So you're done. No, just one question. The quick, yay or nay, voice or no voice?
I think there's got to be some voice, but they could go with the like kind of the Mad Max with Tom Hardy type approach, where like mostly silent. But I feel like for the sake of the narrative, because in the Zelda games, Link talks. He's just not talking in a way that you can hear him because it's supposed to be you responding. That's why his name's Link, right? He's the link between you and the game. So you see him like motioning and you just don't hear his voice, and the characters react, oh, that's what you're doing? Oh,
great
okay.
point, Link.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're going to have him say some stuff, but I think they could go with like a boy a few words, and that could kind of satisfy both sides. Because like in the Mario movie, like Mario's having full-on conversations, which is something he never does out loud anyway in the Mario games. It's always just like little catchphrases and like sounds that he makes in the Mario games. So like they can figure out a way around it. I know you said yay or nay, and I gave you a very long yay.
It's going to be like the Jay and Silent Bob, where at the end of the movie he says nothing, and then he says something very verbose, and it's like, oh, okay, we'll wait till next time. Very cool. Okay, Matt, I'm going to time you. So here you go. You get both questions. Take on it, and then yay or no, nay on talking starting now.
All right. I love this casting. I call it like the non-Robert Downey Jr. effect. I like the fact that we got, I don't want to say they're no-name actors, right? Because I'm not trying to be mean, but we have two young actors that can really grow into these roles. I don't know much about Bo Bragison. However, I do know a little bit about Benjamin Evan Ainsworth because I want to say he was Pinocchio in the live-action Pinocchio movie.
Right.
And I actually liked that movie. I know other people didn't like it, but I kind of liked it. I also liked Everything Is Going to Be Great. Did you guys, that just came out like a month ago. It's like an indie I think Sundance or something. If you look it up, Bryan Cranston and a few other big names are in it.
Oh,
he's a pretty solid boy, like, kid actor. So I think we have a winner here, and we think we have two actors that can grow with whatever a series can turn into. Is my minute up?
Now, let me say this. Who plays Ganondorf?
Matthew Mercer. I'm just, no.
I did think of that. I'm looking at the GameInformer.com, which now does say Renegade Nell, which is the appropriate name. That was a typo in the story. Thanks for pointing that out. So I'm seeing somebody say Willem Dafoe. I'm seeing somebody say Idris Elba.
I think they said Chris Pratt, right? I think he's available.
Chris Pratt.
No.
He's available.
I mean, I feel like it's got to be somebody big playing Ganondorf, right?
That makes sense.
And like the conclusion that myself and IGN's Logan Plant came to in my podcast last week was that it has to be a Ganondorf story, right? Like it can't just automatically be Beast Ganon. Like Logan said something along the lines of like, you can't have these two actors that like two young actors that not many people know fighting a CGI like pig beast. Basically, it's like it's got to be some sort of like humanized character. My thought process was for 90% of the movie it's going to be Ganondorf, and then maybe at the end it's like Ocarina of Time where he turns into Beast Ganon for like the final battle. But like I think it's got to be a Ganondorf story.
I think you're right.
Agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Voice or no voice,
Matt? So even with playing Death Stranding too, right? And there's gotta be something. And I think Brian made a great point where, you're choosing the dialogue, right? And he is making those motions. And I never actually thought about it that way, but he is communicating, there is talking, and that voice is your own voice. So there's definitely going to be voice. I don't think you're going to have this kid on a screen for 2 hours not saying anything. But I think just like in the games, Zelda is going to be, it's the Legend of Zelda. I think she's going to be the star of the show or movie.
Now, can I ask 2 additional questions? One, does this get slotted into the official Zelda timeline? And 2, will they recast Link and Zelda every game or every movie? Because it's a different Link and Zelda in most of the mainline games. It's like, the Ocarina of Time Zelda or Link and Zelda are not the Twilight Princess Link and Zelda. They're descendants of them, but they are different characters altogether, just like inheriting those names.
I mean, you could do the American Horror Story style where they do recast the same actors, and
that's kind of cool.
Or like even like this is getting really geeky in my DC side. Like Hawkman and Hawkgirl are essentially reincarnated every generation, brought back together. So I think you could do it where it's like, because a lot of the times it feels like they're always getting in. They have amnesia. They have to start over from fresh. So it could just be part of their story. Like they are constantly reincarnated through generations. They get the same actors, but basically that's how they get to be different. Maybe because they have different backgrounds, they're raised differently, different like type of parents and things like that. So I think you could do a really unique take on it.
Now, what about the timeline placement? Do you think that they say like, all right, well, this takes place in the Fallen Hero timeline, or is this going to be establishing a whole new like cinematic timeline?
I guess it depends on the storyline they want to base it off of. I mean, I heard a lot of people talk about Ocarina being a good starting point. It really depends, right? So, and Nintendo's probably too worried about too many people that know too much about the timeline, that even know more about Nintendo. That's just because Hyrule Historia, throw it in the trash, right? Or is it the timeline where Link dies and it starts another timeline?
Are we going with like?
Get into it.
Are we going with like recency? I think about my son. And my son is a huge Breath of the Wild fan, a Tears of the Kingdom fan. And, we introduced him to some of those older games. He's got my daughter's 3DS and he's playing, Ocarina of Time on that. But what is this movie? Who is it geared towards? Is it geared towards us who knows everything? And you guys know way more than me. Like, who are they gearing this movie towards? So that's an interesting question. Like, what approach are they taking?
I feel like it's got to be an origin story. Honestly, like they're probably gonna incorporate elements of Skyward Sword, like to talk about like, all right, well, this is why Ganon comes back generation after generation. But on my podcast, Logan mentioned that he thinks it's going to be a Breath of the Wild style story because for an entire generation plus of gamers, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is Zelda, right?
Is Zelda.
Like,
yeah.
It's the biggest Zelda game of all time. I mean, let's be honest.
So like it could be kind of like a combination. My thought is it's going to be a combination of like Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time with like the Breath of the Wild style backdrop. But I don't think there's going to be time travel because then they would have to cast a whole new Link and Zelda to...
I think it's too complex.
I think so. I think maybe that's a future thing. Like they do time travel stories in the future.
It's like your end scene credits or something like that,
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I'm thinking if you're introducing these two main actors, I think you don't want to separate them. You don't want it to be like, oh, and Zelda only gets 5 minutes of screen, like a lot of these movies. Even Wind Waker, I love it to pieces, and wish we get more of those characters together. But I mean, a great viewpoint, and this is my 1 minute. I think a great viewpoint could be like it's really Zelda's movie, and Link is the silent person helping Zelda throughout all of this, but they're learning to get to know each other, establish, some type of rapport. You're learning about the world of Hyrule, all the mythology, and then, then they can introduce the different denizens of Hyrule and have a really fun experience. And I think Idris Elba is a great pick. Kevin Dillon has been called out, the big guy who's been, in many, many different things, so there's ways to go, but obviously someone will say, well, Jack Black has to be in a video game movie. So will he have him?
He's going to be Black as Ganondorf. I will be.
No, he's going to be Tingle. Okay. So we're good to go.
Well, here's the thing though. Like you just, again, like you drew the perfect analogy to what I brought up earlier, which was Mad Max Fury Road, where, Zelda is the Furiosa of this, and Link is the Mad Max of this, whereas, a very powerful character, but a character of few words who is just there to kind of, help the princess or the character that he's kind of escorting accomplish her goal.
Very, very cool. And I do think there will be limited dialogue from Link, which is appropriate. And I think then it works. It's effective when he does speak. It's going to mean a lot. It's kind of like Wolverine at times. Like, he would be the strong silent, or Clint Eastwood, the hero, hero without a name. I think that's the perfect analogy for it. So I'm very excited for this. I hope it comes off. The director is promising. Sony is a little bit not, I'm curious about how Sony develops this, because they've made some interesting movies. Oh, well, let's get to the next story really quick. I thought this was an interesting take. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora gets third-person mode, New Game Plus in December. This is a big surprise with a game that came out about 2 years ago. A lot of people are big fans of it. This is all happening. I'm surprised. Ubisoft surprises me. They have dropped Division 2 DLC out of the blue like last year, which nobody knew about. Now they're doing this. Brian, really quickly, since it's Game Informer's story, in regards to this, what do you think of this approach, still approaching a game that, quite honestly, didn't light the world on fire?
Yeah, and it's interesting that both titles that you mentioned were from Massive Entertainment out in Malmo, Sweden. I got to visit them for Star Wars Outlaws, and they are really passionate about the Division. And the room that I was doing these meetings with for Star Wars Outlaws was themed after Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. So they have a lot of love for that as well. So it's not really surprising to me that they would want to do this, but it is surprising to me that Ubisoft would greenlight them devoting resources to it, because like you said, that game didn't really set the world on fire. The only games out of that have really, I feel like, accomplished their sales goals have been Division 1 and Division 2. Star Wars Outlaws also fell short of expectations from what I understand, which is unfortunate because it was quite a good game. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I should play Frontiers of Pandora, but I just haven't. But I would probably not play it in third person. I'd probably play it in first person, just because it seems like it is like a Avatar skinned Far Cry game is the way that it seems like for me. And I love
Absolutely.
Far Cry, and it's been way too long since we've gotten a Far Cry game. But third person is not going to get me to play it. I would probably play it if I find time for it, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of like I don't know who this is going to attract a kind of update, if that's what they're going for. But I guess it's cool if you like playing third-person games.
I've put this together. There's an Avatar movie coming out in December.
Yes,
too. So it's another opportunity to sell this game.
You would think it would come out closer to that then, or closer to when we get our first
New
trailer.
Game Plus in December, right? Maybe so.
That's a good point.
Second pop, maybe it's a Game of the Year edition. Brian, you could re-rate it and make it a Game of the Year, so they could use that. Maybe. We'll see. Matt, really quick.
I started the game. I fall into the Ubisoft trap of I'm going to wait a few weeks before buying it, and I buy it at 50% off, and I ended up buying it at 50% off. It was absolutely gorgeous. I don't know exactly why I fell off, but then when I see this story, I think to myself, you know what? It was cool in first person because you want to be the character, but there's just something about seeing that character. So maybe actually having that third person will bring in a fan base that wants to see Avatar versus just seeing through the eyes of said right. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm in terms of exploration games and stuff like that. I like the option of having both first and third person. Certain situations I like to play one, and other situations I like to jump back into another. In terms of jumping back into the game, however, I don't know. It's been a couple of years, right? There's so much coming out this year. I mean, maybe if there's time over a break, I'd love to jump in and see how it plays. I'm curious to see, a lot of times those first person to third person views they're getting better. I think about what was Obsidian's game that came out earlier this year? Avowed. I think about Avowed, and it was great in third person, and I tried it, but that game for me was first person all the way. So I don't know. I might dabble.
Now, do you play first or third person for Bethesda games?
So good question. So like I think about like Fallout and Fallout 4, which is, that would be my comfort food game. It depends on what I'm doing within that game. When I'm collecting like junk from a room on a shelf, I am in, first person. If I am exploring a certain area or a certain dungeon, I like to hop out into third person and be able to see more. So it's like, but it's that ability to just, scroll my mouse wheel or click a button and I'm in and I'm out and I'm in and I'm out. I feel like in Avowed, you couldn't do that. Am I wrong? Like you had to go into the settings.
I don't think so. I think it was a click in. I think it was a click in like Skyrim was.
Really? I mean, I played it with mouse and keyboard. I don't remember what it was, but I'm like, forget it. So if this has the ability to go back and forth, I think that'd be really cool. But I flip around. I like at first person wasn't my thing, and then all of a sudden it became my thing, and so I'm all over the place.
Very cool. So I did try Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and I know a lot of people are huge fans of this game, whether they like the game style of Far Cry, which I really do, or they like the franchise, because there's not been, I think there's only been 2 Avatar games. There was one on the 360, I think, was it on? I don't remember when it came out, a long time ago. And then it was this game. And it is funny because I play a lot of games in third person. I really like it. For traversal, for me, I don't love traversal in first person. And having third person, you can see around you where you're standing on the ledge, so you can see your feet really well. So I like that. And I think seeing your character is really a value when you've got a franchise and a property like Avatar. So that's very cool. Coming out in December, perfect timing if they can market this game. I think it would do well because it came out in December, I believe. That was part of its problem. End of the year, so that was not great for getting beyond the sales. So now this would probably be very available. They could package this together, do something, and then market for the thing. And the New Game Plus, I think, is great for people who want to love the game, want to revisit it with new objectives and things like that. And maybe they added skins, maybe too, to represent some things from the new movie, which would be kind of cool. Sigourney Weaver, she needs to be in more skins of this game. Maybe not, but we'll see. But yeah, this is very cool. I'm glad that games are getting some attention. Once again, Star Wars Outlaws got more DLC. It's in a much better place and it's affordable now, so hopefully people check that out as well. So the value is there. It's just, man, I hope people don't forget it. Last story really quick, and I'm going to keep you guys to the 1 minute, so we're going to be on this. So it's been announced that Assassin's Creed is coming to Netflix with Westworld and Halo producers. One of those producer groups I have faith in. The other, probably not so much. You choose. So with that, we had one Assassin's Creed movie that was, not many people talk about. So we'll start with you, Matt. What is the thought on this movie really quick? And do you think this will make Assassin's Creed a household name?
Well, I'm an Assassin's Creed nerd, especially with the original series. I was that guy that could not wait. The hype for that movie was real for me. I cannot remember the director's name, but I believe he directed like the live action Macbeth movie that came out not too long ago. That game the movie had high hopes and it was a bust. And I walked out of the theater asking myself, what the hell just happened? So hopefully the direction is a little bit different. I liked Westworld. Never watched Halo, but I was told that I didn't miss much. I don't know. There's just been so much Assassin's Creed, and I know the cadence has slowed down a bit, but I don't know if I personally want this. I don't even subscribe to Netflix. So, but I can't wait to see and hear more.
Brian.
All right, I will take a slightly more optimistic approach here. Halo, they learned a lot of lessons from that first season, not enough for season 2, but there were some moments in season 2 that I was like, oh, this is the Halo series that I want. And Westworld, that's one of the inverse of that, right? That first season was legendary, and then it kind of went downhill from there. We are in a new era here, I think, of video game adaptations. I think it really goes back to like Detective Pikachu and Sonic 1, where it's like oh, these are actually good movies that feel like they respect the lore of the franchise. It's not something that's like, all right, well, we got to cater to everybody. They're realizing that video game players are a large demographic, and they can actually go and make entertainment specifically for them. It doesn't have to be too watered down to the point that it's just like, all right, well, Michael Fassbender goes back in time and does something, and we just have to just like assume
It's
that
like the Prince of Persia, right?
yeah,
Oh
like
God, Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
I think we're in a different era here where there is a little bit more optimism anytime they announce a video game adaptation. Now, I have problems with some of these adaptations, but like I think largely when you look at like the 90s through like the 2000s versus like the late 2010s into now, like the bar has been raised. And I asked the
Mhm.
Mario movie directors why that is, and they're like, well, you have people who grew up playing these games making these movies now, so it's like the respect is there. Whereas like when you go look at the original Super Mario Brothers movie, the live action one, they didn't have any idea what Mario was. They just knew it was a popular thing, and they were going to make something loosely based on the source material. Now you have people who actually respect the source material, and we're kind of in like the golden age of video game adaptations. So I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, but optimistic nonetheless.
I like that answer because I feel respecting the lore, right, and that story.
I mean, the story works for Assassin's Creed. Of course, now we're got so many different variants of it. Do you want the Vikings version? Do you want the Japanese version? Do you want the, I guess it would be the Mesopotamian version? Do you want the Italian version? I mean, like we said, there's so many versions. So where do you go? What makes the most sense? It's a cool story if you manage it correctly. It's assassins doing cool things. It's sketchy. A lot of behavior, a lot of like, conspiracy theories, the Abstergo, I guess, if you want to have that's your way in for people. I think it could work really well. Netflix seems to be doing better with their adaptations. They've got money. Apparently this was not the first time. Apparently the show was originally announced in 2020. It was then revamped. So it sounds like it's finally coming back in. I mean, and then we're getting variations like Twisted Metal, which is nailing it on a level of just camp and fun, and the source material is goofy. And then we're getting things like Fallout, and we're getting things that are coming out that are really making us all optimistic. So very excited.
Also, it is a series which I think uniquely positions itself to
pivot,
to go to different eras, right? Like it doesn't have to be like, all right, well this season's going to be based on like the Aztecs or anything like that. Like it could be like, all right, well this episode's the Aztecs, and then this episode's going to be ancient Rome, and then this
different protagonists.
Yeah, this is feudal Japan.
Sides. Yep.
Like they could go to all kinds of different
cool.
eras, and like, all right, well this is going to be them assassinating Genghis Khan, and like there could be so much fun that they could play with history in a series.
Sign me up.
Maybe it's not even like they're going into a virtual world. It's like they have time travel, which would be very fun. To your point, like we're going to assassinate these bad dudes from history, do something like that, or kill people to manipulate the timeline, which could be very cool as well. So
executive producers, Brian Shea and Todd Oxtra. Right. Let's go. That sounds good.
I hope someone was listening and copyright our idea. That I guess right at this point, we own all our ideas. So Brian, hopefully your lawyer is ready to go and take on this. So,
I've got him on retainer.
Very good. Very good. Very cool. And by the way, to let you know, when Brian stepped away for a second, I saw he's got Game Informer on his chair. So very cool marketing. I love it. It's awesome. Well, very good. That was news done quick. So we'll talk about more news the next episode, but very fun. Thank you, Game Informer, for all of your awesome coverage. Appreciate that.
Thank you for highlighting it.
Absolutely. And the links will be in the show notes. So if you want to check out the stories and give the writers their cred, and don't be a jerk and point out an editorial issue with Brian, you'll be okay. Don't hold it against me, Brian.
Hey, I appreciate it because we want to have the best quality coverage on the website. So if there is a typo where we call it Renegade Neil instead of Renegade Nell, I want to know so we can fix it.
Neil Nell, that show does look very funny if you see it on Disney Plus. It's very cool. And I did note that the actors in the Zelda series are both English, so you can go into an actual English accent that works. Versus, some people don't love Zelda's voice, but that's okay. I thought it was fine. Okay, let's get into what we've been playing. And Brian, I am waiting for we talk about magazines coming in the mail. I am probably the last subscriber on Earth that uses GameFly. So GameFly is delivering Donkey Kong Bonanza to me whenever the mail gods will deliver. I looked in the mailbox and I'm like, oh! So I'm very excited to play this. Very excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza. What can you tell us?
I used to be a GameFly subscriber myself, like long time ago, but I remember new releases were next to impossible to get. Did you just get really lucky, or has it gotten easier?
I know how to play the game. They now have a lock where you can lock a game like a month out. You can lock a game and you're guaranteed to get it like a couple days later. And I did. I had Death Stranding 2. I sent that back. I made sure I was playing the game, and then I'm going to have probably something else coming. Oh, and Metal Gear Solid Delta is going to be my next held game, so I'll get that as well. So I'm doing that. It kind of supplements my other areas where I play, get to try out games. So it's great. But to your point, it is I don't get to be in the zeitgeist of like yourself, where you said you've been playing 10 hours of this game. So when you put down Zelda Breath of the Wild, you get to play this game.
Yeah, and it is a very impressive 3D platformer. We knew it was the Mario Odyssey team that made this game, and I mean I played it for 20 minutes in April, and then two and a half hours back in June. And I could have told you that even if they didn't tell us that, like that it was the Mario Odyssey. Their fingerprints and DNA are all over this game. Like that level of creativity, that level design. It's just the UI looks like Mario Odyssey. When you get a Banandium gem, it looks like when Mario gets a Power Moon in Mario Odyssey, which is a slightly less ridiculous name for the collectible that he has, a Power Moon versus Banandium gem, which I could tolerate Banandium gem, but when they said, yeah, you consume Bananergy, that was when I drew the line on this game. But no, overall, it is
that was the line.
That was the line.
I'm done. This franchise trash.
I am having a blast with it. You know, the exploration elements they rival that of Mario Odyssey. I don't think the gimmicks are quite on par with like just the shotgun blast that you get with Mario Odyssey, but they're still very, very clever, right? Like you are still like, all right, well, this level, like you have to punch through these platforms, and then when you do that, it appears the platforms appear another area. So like you have to choose like, all right, well, how much do I want to destroy these platforms versus these? There are like so many cool mechanics that you have that like it's kind of similar to like how like the Yoshi games have been, where it's like, all right, we're going to introduce this really intricate, really cool gimmick, and then we're just going to move on to another really cool, intricate gimmick, and maybe it'll pop up later, but like you don't know. Like you got your fill of this gimmick, and you can be like, wow, that was a really cool thing that I'm going to look back on fondly. Who knows if it's going to show up again? And that's kind of a lot of the stuff that they do with Donkey Kong Bonanza. But the way that they're implementing it just feels so ingenious. Like there are so many things where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm excited to see how they take this in different directions. And then you get into a challenge room and you're like, oh, wow, they really took this in some really cool directions. And the collectathon aspects that feel kind of borrowed from like the Rare years when Donkey Kong was under there, and especially like Donkey Kong 64, but not in a way that is out of control like Donkey Kong 64 was. Like it feels reined in, but still you're going around collecting everything in sight, right? Like you're collecting banana chips, you're collecting Banandium gems, you're collecting fossils that can be traded in for like cosmetics that also give you stat boosts. And the Banandium gems also, once you collect I think 5 or maybe 6 of them, like give you a skill point that you can then use to level up your Donkey Kong or your Bonanza transformation. So like there are all these systems at play as well, in addition to all the creative level design and creative mechanics. And like, you know, the story is whatever. Like I think that Pauline as a 13-year-old girl, she's quite endearing. Like she's a very endearing companion to just like the goofy brute that is Donkey Kong. And you know, I am really excited to see where the second half of this game goes, because I feel like I'm coming up, if I'm like critical pathing it, which I'm not, I'm exploring a lot. I feel like I'm coming up on like maybe the end of the first act right now. So I'm really, really excited to see where the rest of this game takes me, because so far it has been phenomenal and it's one of my favorite games of the year.
I remember when they first showed like the main, like, this is what you're going to be doing. Cause I remember when I saw the initial impression, like, this is amazing. And then when I saw, like, oh, you're going to also have your own place where you decorate, then you're going to have a way to sculpt thing with the mouse control. So it's like Mario Paint. And then you've got a skill tree. I mean, well, it's a tree. So Donkey Kong climbs that. He probably puts skills on it, right? That's what monkeys do. You're throwing everything. You can get mud together to form. I mean, just all this stuff is crazy. And then you've got the Bananza transformations where you can do different things. I'm like, they showed so much. I'm like, this game has so much into it. And then you have the Donkey Kong Country, like side-scrolling levels too. And I'm like, well, what else is there? They always hide things that you never see. So I'm just wondering, with you 10 hours in, I'm like wondering, like, how long is this game? And like, what else is hidden? Because I'm excited to try it out, but obviously people get scared of, spoilers of, in this, it's not really, it's not like going to be crazy, story elements where it's like, yeah, Uncle Kong shows up and he's the real villain. We're not going to get that, I don't think.
Well,
or maybe, Granny Kong or
Wrinkly Kong comes back.
Yeah.
I have heard
she possesses Pauline. It's bad news. Yeah.
Logan, who did review it for IGN, did tell me on my podcast that like the kind of the ending sequence of this game is as memorable, if maybe not more memorable, than the ending sequence of Mario Odyssey. So maybe avoid spoilers. I have not gotten to that point. I've not been spoiled, thankfully. But I am like, oh, I hope I can make it without like getting that ruined for me.
That's amazing. I'm so excited. It's going to be my game. I've been struggling to find a game to play in between, been like, but that game is coming. So excited. Any other games that you've been excited about? Obviously, we talked about Zelda, all these other things. You put those down to focus on Donkey Kong.
A little bit of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. I loved the Tony Hawk franchise back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So it's really cool to have a new release for that, even if it is like remakes. But there's new levels, there's new skaters. So even though it's largely just like, hey, here's 3, and then like our reviewer Wesley LeBlanc described the structure of 4, since it's no longer like kind of like the open structure, it's the 2-minute session structure of the first 3 games. He described it almost as like a level pack for 3, which I don't mind necessarily. Like, they reworked some of the objectives to play better in that 2-minute session format. So like, I don't hate it. And I actually have always preferred the 2-minute sessions over the open format. But yeah, just go into it knowing that, like, if you were a big like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 sicko, like, you're gonna maybe feel a little bit jarred by this format change. But I think overall it was for the best. But yeah, like, there's enough meat on the bones and like new stuff. And like, it's also, it's been like 23 years since I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. So like, I'm not like, oh, been there, done that. It's like, no, this is a cool, like, skate down memory lane. And also a reminder that those games were so much freaking fun. And I'm having a blast with it whenever I can, not devote so much time to Breath of the Wild and Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Very, very cool. And that game is also on. And I played a little bit of just, I will touch on it really quickly since you're talking about it, because I have not much more to say. My wheelhouse is the GBA version of Tony Hawk. When I got my GBA, that was a game that was available. So doing it, that was an amazing game. And then also the PS1. Didn't really pay it much past then. I tried it. I'm horrible at it, but I do love the fact that you can get Doom Guy and one of the demons as content now. I'm sure you'll get later, but it's on Game Pass, it's on Twitch too, it's on everything, so check it out.
Also, Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles is
that's right, you can earn him, which is great. Which is great. You can earn him, you don't have to pay for it. So
perfect synergy there.
Absolutely Activision. There we go. All right, Matt, see the 2 games you've been playing.
I actually just wanted to throw this in there, with all of the talk about Donkey Kong. So I don't have a Switch 2 yet, and I'm holding out a little bit, and my son is like begging me for one. But I was like, like all this coverage I'm seeing about Donkey Kong 2, and like or Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'm gonna replay Mario Odyssey, and we have a little cabinet right where all of our Nintendo games are, and I'm flipping through it. I'm like, I can't find it. And I'm asking my son, I was like, did you like let a friend borrow it? I'm like thinking about like sending a text to the cleaning lady. Like, did you go through my, where the hell is the copy? I can't find it. So now I'm like about to flip a table, because now I really need to go back. So please, someone stop me from rebuying this game.
You should rebuy it because it's my favorite 3D platformer of all time.
It is phenomenal. I mean, Mario Galaxy was like some of my favorite 3D Mario, but I tell Daddy D Wally, friend of the show, who loves to talk trash about Astrobot. I'm like, dude, play Mario Odyssey, and I'm gonna get to it. I'm like, can't talk trash about anything until you play Mario Odyssey. Anyway,
I mean, those are probably 2 of the top 3 3D platformers ever. So like,
absolutely amazing games.
Yes,
I'm a big advocate for Astrobot as well.
Yes,
Astrobot's amazing. Yep.
Loved it.
It is funny how, like, to your point, people dismiss 3D platformers like they're simple, they're easy. I'm like, if they're easy to do, how many good ones will there be? Because quite honestly, there's not many. We played a lot of the bad ones: Astrobot, the Mario, and maybe I'm trying to think of another one that's really great. I call Ratchet and Clank, like, they're more like action
3D
shooter platformers. But yeah, I mean, in regards to 3D platforming, Astrobot and the Mario trilogy,
I think of Psychonauts. I'm like, these games are not simple. I mean, why am I about to slam a controller down?
The good ones are rare, so I don't think people should discount them as just being that. So I really heart them to pieces, especially when you've got the things that they did with that game. And I remember seeing it at the first Switch reveal, and they show this Mario game. Like, what is this? This is the game that was made for Todd. So
Cappy,
absolutely loved pieces.
Cappy.
Who's going to put a cap on a dinosaur?
Gosh.
Also, there's a very good chance I will be replaying Mario Odyssey after I finish Donkey Kong Bonanza, because it also got the upgrade on Switch too. So now it's 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And but only the Luigi Balloon Hunt was the only content that game got. So sad.
What a missed opportunity, because they could have added whole kingdoms as DLC for that game.
Absolutely.
I would have shelled out $100 for like extra stuff. Yeah.
And Lord knows Mario Sunshine could have been amazing with that engine.
Well, there was rumor for the longest time that Isle Delfino was like the DLC kingdom they were going to release, and that never happened. So that's why I theorize that they are going to be putting some of that content that could have very easily been in Mario Odyssey as DLC as like a follow-up. But
how about a deluxe Mario Odyssey Deluxe, like almost like the version with 3D World that was Bowser's Fury. Do something like that. That'd be amazing.
I would love that. I think that because they put out a free update for Mario Odyssey, that maybe they won't, because I don't know, maybe because it is free, they would because then but like, you think they would have been like, all right, well, yeah, we're going to put out this, because they've already announced, like, there's a Kirby Switch 2 version with extra content. There's a Mario Party Jamboree version with extra content. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom had the paid upgrades with Zelda notes and everything. Yeah. So I feel like they would have announced that at the Switch 2 reveal event if that was actually going to happen. So that's unfortunate. But at least Mario Odyssey runs like a dream now on Switch 2, which is really all you can ask for from one of the greatest 3D platformers of all time.
And I never had a problem with the way it performed on Switch, so even better.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, perfect. When I find my copy for Switch 1, I'm going to let you guys know. What I've been playing is not replaying Mario Odyssey, but I am in Death Stranding 2. When I think it's over, Kojima throws me another curveball. So I'm probably around 55 to 60 hours in Death Stranding 2. Wow. And I am enjoying it. I kind of stopped. Like, I was trying to get like 5 stars and deliver it. I'm like, all right. Like, kind of like with Death Stranding 1, like I got to the point where I'm like, I'm done being like that kind of mailman, and now I'm just going to stick to my paper route. I'm not going to take over anybody else's. So, but I'm loving the story. It's not nearly
gameplay of Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Say that again.
Do you have my copy of Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Yeah, I'm holding. Even though I don't have the Switch 2, I got it anyway, and I'm just holding on to it.
You jerk! You jerk!
So I think I'll be done with Dishonored 2, or not Dishonored. I think I'll be done with Death Stranding 2 this week, and Dishonored 2. I am streaming Dishonored 2 on my channel. I loved the first Dishonored game. I never played Dishonored 2, so I am having a freaking blast. I love Arcane. I love Deathloop. I loved the first Dishonored game, and so I'm having a really, really good time with Dishonored 2.
Matt is a very good watch because I love the world of Dishonored. I'm just horrible at stealth games. So watching him play, commenting and say, "Hey, Matt, look over there," and he's like, "What? What did I see?" And it's very fun to be like kind of on the journey with a stealth game. And what do you approach it? And how do you get penalized? And what can you do? And it was very fun. It's like, oh, what if I do that? And it's a very cool way to experience a game, and a solo game in a different way. It's kind of like how I played Slay the Spire with my son. We just played it together. Like we both talked about decisions and said, let's do this. So it was fun. I like when you can make a game collaborative and still have fun with it.
And people chime in and like, I'm trying to be stealthy, but Emily is on a freaking murdering spree right now. And I don't know if this ending is going to be very good because I'm like, but I'm doing a good job running away and, losing their attention. They are the masters of that immersive sim and just giving you that choice and it's an old game, but it still feels new. It's funny because I wanted to play it on Xbox because of that first party boost. But when I looked it up, I read that Dishonored got it and then the Dishonored expansion got it, but Dishonored 2 didn't. So it still plays in 30 frames, which I'm like, weird. I don't know if I'm wrong. I mean, somebody can fact check me, but so I'm actually playing it on PlayStation because it's on both subscriptions, right? So I'm horrible at stealth games, but I'm having a blast. It's a ton of fun.
There's a lot less rats that I noticed in that game than the first one. So
the rats are okay now. We don't have that rat infestation. That is, at least as of now, that's from what I see, has gone away.
Okay, good to know. Well, good deal. Death Stranding 2, that went back to GameFly. I decided to watch more of it online than play it. So I'm glad that I got that experience, and just not for me. That's okay. We'll see what's next for Kojima. For myself, trying to get back into the Switch life. So I will say one editorial comment is the Switch eShop is a hot mess. When you try to find games that are coming out, what's there? I think just the new releases, half of it was hentai games. No problem with hentai games, but the ability to like really search to find like those top rated games, what do people think, like Steam, when you have the Steam user reviews, they help you kind of find the best of the best. And unfortunately, I feel like most of the console holders don't do a good job of allowing the cream to rise to the top, which is crappy. But I've been looking at what I've had in my wish list on the Switch, finally getting to games. And one I bought for like $3 is Shakedown Hawaii. Not sure if you played it, but this is essentially a 16-bit Nintendo take on Grand Theft Auto. It's very funny. It's basically a gimmick type of scenario where you're in Hawaii and the guy who's in charge of a video shop wants to take down streaming and that by replacing it with DVDs and videotape rentals. So he starts going on a mission with his son, who's a punk rocker. It's basically you're riding a little car. It's very animated. You destroy things. Cops come after you. It's just so fun. It's like GTA, like the original ones that were on console and PS1, PS2, but it's got like the big head chibi guys. They come out of the cars. They do funny things. You go on missions. It's great. I really appreciate that game sense of humor. Pick up mission structure. It's great. So Doom: The Dark Ages is the next game. I am on mission 15 out of 22. After playing South of Midnight, I tried to get back into this game. It was hard because South of Midnight is not a hard game. So going back into a hardcore shooting game where it's just so much fun to play. I'm back in this game. That's my next game I'm going to beat until Bananza comes up, and then I'll put that on hold and come back to this. So, but yeah, it's a great game. I love the fact that Doom has reinvented itself. I didn't love Eternal. Doom: The Dark Ages has got me back in. I love it.
Oh, that's good to know.
The store that the hidden things you want to find, like the little chibi dolls you find, all the power-ups, and it's great. And my son played it first on hardcore, of course, so he makes me feel bad about my ability to game, and I played it on a little easier, and I'm having a blast. And he's like, Dad, just use the super shotgun. I'm like, no, I like all these fun weapons that are just fun to use. Don't love the dragon combat and the mech you ride in. It's just like Rock'em Sock'em robots. It's like almost like Punch Out, dodge, punch. it's simplified, but I like the fact that they added those in to kind of add in some spicy variety. Considering Doom has been around for how long from id, it's amazing they can keep people that excited about a franchise where it's about a dude called Doom Guy. So loving it. So that is what we've been playing, gentlemen. Thank you for sharing your games. And if people have questions about what, and I love to hear what people are playing out, their recommendations, because there's a lot of games to play right now. Man, Steam has so many demos. I downloaded one today that I'm very excited about. But yeah, please share the games you're excited, because I need recommendations to see what is worth my time. But we're going to end the show with our last segment. It's called the bonus round, of course. But we are doing ESRB description theater, or the game, where basically all of us will pick a game and then quiz another player, or we can tag team to basically determine what it is based on its ESRB information. So ESRB is basically the Entertainment Software Review Board, where they classify the game based on its content. It gives it a rating, and then moms get mad because their kids want to play a game that they shouldn't be playing. So I will just say at this point, I'm going to give you an example of one. It's Elden Ring. So at this point, the summary of this game is essentially it's rated M for mature, 17 plus for blood and violence. It's an action role-playing game in which players assume the role of a hero growing stronger to face the something. So I'm going to redact certain things from a third-person perspective. Players explore environments, collect items, and battle various enemies. In a melee-style combat, players use swords, bows, and magic to defeat enemies. Battles are highlighted by cries of pain, impact sounds, and large blood spatter effects. A handful of scenes depict hanging bodies in the background. Cutscenes depict further instances of violence and blood. A character throats being slit. A character hitting someone off screen repeatedly with large blood splatter effects. So based on that, I don't know how anyone would assume this is Elden Ring Night Rain.
I mean,
so that's the fun of this, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I could see it a little bit with like the exploring a large open world and like tales of suffering, because that's typically how Elden Ring sessions go.
Sounds like a FromSoft game.
I probably would have just said regular Elden Ring or maybe Dark Souls instead of like specifically Elden Ring Night Rain. But yeah, I mean, I could kind of see it. And then I say that now knowing the answer. We're going to get into it, be like, players shoot each other with guns. And I'm like, oh, God.
So I'm going to leave this up to the group. Should we tag team it where Brian, if you have your game, then Matt and I will tag team on that. And along with that, how many, I guess, yes, no questions can we ask to allow us to get closer to an answer? Is 5 enough? I don't want to make it painful. I can make 10. I just want to make sure that
let's keep it at 5.
Yeah, 5 sounds like a good number. 10 sounds like a bit much.
And we're gonna tag team. So
wait, am I supposed to find one now?
Yes. So everybody will pick a game really quick. Just go to the website. You can go to search. You can just put a game title in for any platform. It goes back right now. When I look at it, it goes back to Xbox One, PC, and other. So that's as far back as it goes, which is just weird. Surprising you can't go back further. Or you can, I guess search, but I guess those games are no longer in print. So the ESRB doesn't care. So we'll each pick our game, and then we'll tag team with each other to figure out who wins.
Oh man, I chose one. I think it might be a little too obscure, so I'm gonna go back and choose something else here.
2 guessers can, kind of align on the questions they want to go with. So we'll go very quickly. I can start, and you and Matt, Brian and Matt, can guess if that makes sense.
Go for it.
Okay. I just got to look it up really quick. If it returns it. Here we go. So I'm going to read the description, and you gentlemen have 5 questions to get it right. So this game is rated E10 plus for everyone, with alcohol reference, cartoon violence, comic mischief, and language. This is a platformer game in which players help someone to stop a destructive force. Players traverse platforms, jump on enemies, and use a spin attack to knock characters out. Some characters use guns and rockets. Characters generally disappear amid puffs of smoke and whimsical sound effects when defeated. Their handful depiction of alcohol, barrels, jugs near tavern with a frothy mug sign, neon signs of barrels with the word tavern. The game contains a comical depiction of a man vomiting. The word A*S and bastard are heard in the game. I love how they put the
Yeah, I had the asterisks.
Okay, there you go. That's your description. You got your rating. You have 5 questions.
Oh man,
Yes, I'll say yes or no.
Is this a Ratchet and Clank game?
No.
That was. Is this a okay? I just forgot my question.
Is that your question? Do you want me to answer it?
Is this a Psychonauts game?
No. You have 3.
Huh. Did this game come out in the last 10 years?
Yes. One more question, then your guess.
We get 2 more questions, right? We've done 3.
Was that 4?
That was 3.
That was 3.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. You get 2 more.
Trying to cheat us.
Keeping you on your toes.
Came out in the last 10 years. Is it? I don't want this to be part of my question, but I like.
We'll ask each other.
I forgot what the rating was.
E10 plus.
E10 plus. Okay.
Which is everyone 10 plus.
10 and no plus.
E10. That's a weird rating. I thought it was like I didn't know like a specific age.
Yeah, it usually has to do with like maybe like the story beats or just like how difficult something might be. I can't remember the last E10. Brian, if you have a question, go for it because I'm like, I don't want to waste it.
You can confer with each other too.
Oh, all right.
It's allowed.
Is it a 3D platformer?
Yes.
3D platformer. It's not Psychonauts. It's not Ratchet and Clank.
Psychonauts is like T&M, so
and
I
it
screwed
came
that
out
up.
the last 10 years. Those are our clues so far. We have one more question now.
One more question?
Yes.
Conferring with my partner here. So this is not necessarily our official question, right? If we talk to each other, this doesn't have to count.
Until you say this is your question, you can check through it.
Brian, are we looking at a console should we like look at a specific console? I'm trying to think of E10 platformers in the past 10 years and my mind shifts more towards what other platforms versus things like that.
Man.
I don't know if that would narrow it down for us.
Well, it's like
you can ask what platforms that you can. I can, if you want to ask what platform it's on, I can tell you.
That's our final question, right?
Yeah, that would be our final question.
That should be our final question, I guess.
Unless we
agree
unless we agree that should be part of our something we reveal about this game as we describe
well, in the ESRB website, they do have descriptions for what platform it's on.
They do list the platforms, they list the rating, and then they give all of their basis information. So if you feel that's fair, that you should get that, then we all have to use that going forward. I just don't know if it makes it too easy or it may not help at all. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think we can do that as one of the questions. I think that's the rule we should follow.
Okay. Absolutely. Go you. Well, you did already ask 10 years, right? So it's been 10 years. So you think of the questions the last 10 years. So kind of gets you there.
Man.
I don't feel confident in myself, so.
I don't
Last
either.
question, then the guess.
Do you want me to ask a question or
go for it? If you got it, I'm like looking back here at like a collection to see what E10 games I have.
Is it on 2 or fewer platforms?
This seems to lie because I think it's on another platform they don't list. So I would say no.
Well, crap.
I'm going to look it up just to confirm what platform. I mean, it should be on the other platform that's not listed, which would be very, very weird. Doesn't make any sense.
They disappear into puffs of smoke.
Do you want me to read any of it back?
Am I allowed to Google 3D platformers?
No, it is on more than two. It's on more than two. If you need me to repeat any of the statement or the description at all, I can do that.
All right, go for it while we think. Since we're out of questions now.
It's rated E10 for 10 plus for everyone. Alcohol reference, cartoon violence, comic mischief, and language. Players help the main character travel through time to stop a destructive force. Players traverse platforms, jumps on enemies. Maybe I missed this. The enemy types are pirates, robots, and dinosaurs. Use a spin kick attack to knock characters out. Some characters, lizard pirates, use cartoony guns, rockets, and or dynamite against each other. Characters generally disappear amid puffs of smoke and whimsical sound effects. When
Banjo-Kazooie.
There are a handful. Is that your official answer?
No.
Okay. Or question. There are a handful of depictions of alcohol, barrels, jugs near a tavern with a frothy mug sign, neon signs, barrels with the word tavern. The game contains a comical depiction of a man vomiting. The words A**S and bastard are heard in the game.
The time travel element has me hung up because I can't think of anything that fits that. And the spin kick, and then the pirates, robots, and dinosaurs.
Okay, might have to do the Jeopardy.
Yeah, I'm at a loss. If it's not Ratchet and Clank or Psychonauts.
I feel like something's on the tip of my tongue, and if we run out of time and you do give the answer and it was what was on the tip of my tongue, I promise I'm not lying that I knew the answer. Just giving you the heads up.
I get it wrong. I knew the right answer. That's the good one. Okay, I'm going to count down in 10. You guys will make your final answer ready to go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give me your guess.
A Hat in Time.
Oh, shit.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer. I don't know about you, Matt.
You have to agree.
Yes, then that's my answer too.
The answer is Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. It even has entitled. It is on all the platformers. Yeah. And it's funny. It did not list Xbox One, even though it's Activision Blizzard. So it's very weird that they now own the company. It wasn't listed here, but maybe when it wasn't submitted, I believe it came out on all platforms at the same time.
See, I'm going to be honest. I said Banjo-Kazooie, but I meant to say.
Very good. Very good try. Very good try. Okay. Well, that is the first one. Good effort there. I think we've aligned on all the rules since I'm really making this dusty game come to life. So at this point, who would like to go next for making other people guess?
I can go, but you guys have to choose a number here because I have 3 options up. And you'll only have yourselves to blame based on what you pick.
Oh, crap.
All are relatively mainstream titles, so it's nothing like crazy obscure. 1, 2, or 3.
Okay. Matt, on 3 will say the number, and whoever's got the higher number wins.
Whoever's got the higher number? So if we both say 3.
Then it's 3. Yeah, there we go.
1, 2, 3.
2. Okay, you win.
Okay.
Very scientific.
I'm going to have to redact several things from here because it would immediately give it away. But this game is rated M for mature by the ESRB with blood and gore, intense violence, language, and partial nudity. This is an action game in which players assume the role of blank on a quest for vengeance against blank. Players traverse open world environments, interact with characters, complete quests, and infiltrate enemy strongholds. Players use blank, poison darts, swords, and bows to battle enemies in melee-style combat. Some attacks result in dismemberment and or decapitation, often accompanied by large blood splatter effects. Players can also perform assassination kills to dispatch enemies quietly. Cutscenes depict additional acts of intense violence. I'll modify this, such as characters being lit on fire and beheaded, bound civilians lit on fire and burned at the stake, a decapitated man's head held up towards the screen. The game also depicts okay, this might give it away, a man's exposed buttocks as he blanks. The word SH''T can be heard in the game.
Oh, man, why am I feel like this is Ghost of Tsushima or maybe an Assassin's Creed game? Am I wrong? I don't know.
The moment we heard buttocks and we were told it's going to give it away, I'm thinking of Jin walking into the baths.
That's right.
Yes. And there's a lot of decapitation.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember, like, were we cutting people's heads off? Like, I think so.
There was a lot of gory stuff. So I'll take the first question. Is this a Sony produced game?
It is.
Okay. So, because now this game is the first game is on PC and Sony. That's the only place it's on. So, do you have a follow up, Matt?
Is this a Sucker Punch developed game?
I don't know where you're going with this, but yes, it is.
All right. And are you going to make us go get really specific, or could we just say this is Ghost of Tsushima?
It's infamous. No, I'm just kidding. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Like you were going to say, oh no, it's the collector's edition or it's the director's cut. No, you got it wrong.
No.
I love that, because when I thought about that, I'm like, oh, it could be like, because you could go close into the new Shadows game, right? Because, I mean, made me feel that way.
I was censoring a lot of this is a samurai sword, and
I was gonna say kill with blank, and I'm like, what? Baseball bat?
Yeah. And that was so that's clever, because I'm like, when I've read through a few descriptions, I'm like, oh man, like this is really hard. But the moment you say something specific, like the type of weapon they use, it's like, oh well, now you're like immediately gonna know the game. So, great game. Great game.
Fantastic game. The other two options I had, if you would like to know, were Splatterhouse and Inside.
Wow. Inside's a good one. Splatterhouse, I wouldn't have gone.
We picked the easy. We picked
we did get the easy one.
You should have gone easy, medium, or difficult. Because then we were like, oh, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we did chicken and picked it easy anyways. Very good pick. All right. Let's see then. Matt.
All right, so
your play.
I hopefully don't slip up and say anything that's wrong. So that gives it away too much. Here we go. So blank is rated M for mature, 17 plus by the ESRB, with blood, language, use of alcohol, and violence. This is a first-person shooter in which players assume the role of blank. A man aboard a space station overrun by aliens. Players complete mission-based objectives and use futuristic weapons and special abilities to kill enemy creatures and human survivors. Realistic gunfire, large explosions, and blood splatter effects occur during combat. Some environments depict large blood stains and corpses amid pools of blood. A handful of sequences depict additional acts of violence. A character executed with a gunshot to the head. A man impaled by alien tentacles at close range. During the course of the game, player's character can consume alcohol, resulting in drunkenness status. Examples of screen blurring, effects, and stumbling. The word SH**T is heard in the dialogue.
Really?
Okay. So my question is this a game published by Electronic Arts?
Published. I don't want to get it wrong. So
I don't. Does it list the publisher on the? Yeah, they should, right?
I mean, I know who. Oh, now I feel stupid. No, I don't see the publisher, and I feel like I know the answer, but
they do publisher or developer, because
they do that.
Well, yeah. If you go to the actual website, it should say the publisher, or if I go back in mine, it does show.
I feel dumb that I don't know this answer. There's several different. I'm sorry. Look at this. I wasn't even prepared.
Oh yeah, it's right underneath the title is the publisher.
It
If you go back
is?
and search. Oh yeah, Crash.
If you're on the
Crash Bandicoot 4.
ESRB.org website.
Yeah, if you go there,
There.
you click on the title.
I see the title, and
right
all I
underneath it.
see under the title is where the game is.
Huh.
Am I like looking at something wrong?
Oh, weird.
Well, just
I
if
just
you
see
go to the Wikipedia page, it'll tell you.
I'm gonna send you a link. Click the link in our
No.
chat.
All right. I feel no. I feel like I'm sorry. I feel like an idiot. I feel.
It's okay.
I feel like an idiot. The answer is no. EA did not publish this game.
Okay.
I'm going to when we discover what this game is, I'm going to say my goodbyes and exit with my head
Were you doing that?
hanging so damn low
It's
that
okay.
it's
Hey,
ridiculous.
it's everybody's first time once, Matt.
So that was
you got a little bit nervous. Okay.
that killed my immediate answer, which was Dead Space.
I thought of Dead Space. I thought too. The alcohol, though, I don't remember having any
exactly.
alcohol. Callisto Protocol, like we talked about, is a very similar game. Was there alcohol in that game?
I don't remember. I didn't.
Okay.
I bounced off it pretty quickly, so
I didn't either. It was a game like I remember they saying they had like more like was it Punch Out combat? It was like more like movement versus like.
I know. I
stuff.
played like an hour and I'm like, this dodging is so like there is no man on the face of the planet that can pull this off.
Okay, so I will ask the follow-up question. Is this a console exclusive?
That's another one I have to look up.
So it should be the platforms, right?
So under platforms, then no, it is not a console exclusive. It did come to multiple platforms. I don't know if when it was released, it was exclusive. I have to look that up. No, it was not a console exclusive.
Space Tentacles. Oh, okay. Brian, I'm going to confer with you. Alien. Is there been an Alien game?
I mean, Colonial Marines, maybe.
What about the other one that was like that?
The Alien Isolation
game. There was wasn't there like a cooperative or like team squad based Alien game recently?
Fire Team, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Was there alcohol?
That was like a strategy game though.
I thought so, or where you're like controlling shooter,
which I think Colonial Marines would fit the bill there.
Was that what era was that though? Because I mean, I don't think I think that was that a 360 game?
That was
or
360.
Okay, so I don't think it goes back that far. So
I mean,
I think ESRB maybe. I don't know.
ESRB goes back pretty far. I mean, Splatterhouse.
I was just thinking our search though. When I looked at the search, it seems like it only showed through Xbox One and PS4.
Well, Splatterhouse was on Wii, but the ESRB is for the PS3 and Xbox 360 version.
Okay, so it goes that far back. Okay, so maybe we should ask a timing question.
Yeah, was this on PS3, Xbox 360?
It was not.
Okay.
Oh,
so probably
okay,
after that.
Is this a? I'm trying to think like the perspective, like a third person.
He said first person shooter.
It's a first person shooter with alcohol, things like that.
If it wasn't for the aliens, I would say like maybe Max Payne, but that's a third person.
Should we say is this based on a property?
Yeah, is this a licensed IP?
No, it is not.
Oh, so not aliens.
It's not Dead Space. It's not aliens.
No.
It's
Okay. I'm gonna ask a game. Is there only one game in the series?
Wow, you guys are lucky because I forgot how many questions you asked.
I think that was 4.
This is 4.
This is 4. Is this the only game in the series?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know then.
Was this game released in the last 5 years?
No.
Okay.
Do you mind if I pause for a second? I just have to check on one thing. And I'm not looking it up on another
He's going to look at the answers.
Give me 1 second. I'll be back. My dog is going crazy again. Okay, Brian. Are we any closer? I feel like not so much.
Yeah, all of my assumptions and early guesses have been debunked through our yes or no questions.
Do you want me to reread the description like you did, Todd? Or are you pretty
I don't know if that would help me,
comfortable?
honestly.
I feel like, the tentacle piece, the first person, the alcohol. There wasn't like extreme violent. They said that the one swear word, splatters of blood. Not console exclusive. I mean, I feel like I'm not that much closer to where we need to be. It's very generic,
So
unfortunately.
I will say, so just in doing some research, it was not there. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to help. There was not a console exclusive. However, there was a console exclusive demo available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
PlayStation 4.
I don't think that helps, but
No, demo is very odd that it would be that way. But okay, Brian, I mean, any other space-centric first-person shooters?
It's
I
a
can't
one-off.
think of any.
It's a one-off. It's not a franchise. That makes it even trickier for me.
No.
I hope I got your answers correct, because I'm going to feel like a jackass if I didn't. I think I did.
Well, we won't be a horrible person to you, Matt, if you're wrong. Oh, we'll say that now and then. We'll see how it goes. So, Brian, since you're the guest, want to take a guess? I'll back you up.
That's just because you didn't have a guess.
I know, like, hey, I'm being a gentleman. Yeah.
I mean, the guesses that I have, they might as well be Madden. Like that might as well be my answer, because I have nothing on this. Like all of my answers. I mean, could it be Call of Duty Infinite Warfare?
What's that?
That's the
space and alcohol. Sure.
That's the space-based Call of Duty. I don't know. I don't remember aliens, but
that your final guess?
No, because it doesn't have aliens. I don't think it has Conor McGregor, but it doesn't have aliens.
Oh, I remember Conor McGregor.
I'd rather be trapped in a space station with aliens than Conor McGregor at this point.
Oh my god, yeah, I'd rather be trapped into the aliens than Conor McGregor. Dead Space Infiltration.
Wait. Prey.
No.
Yes!
Is that the answer?
This is a first-person shooter in which players assume the role of Morgan Yu, a man or woman, aboard a space station overrun by aliens. Players complete mission-based objectives and use futuristic weapons like the disruptor pistols, laser cannons, and special abilities like kinetic blast and psycho shock. I feel like those things would have given it away. Wow, what a minimalist description of that game. And
there was another Prey game,
but but like that original one that was like, but this is like a
not with the Native American lead, right? And the weird portals,
different. But this was like different.
It is different.
I need to play Prey now, because however, it was more on Earth, and you were like, I guess I need to play.
Well, then I don't want to give anything away, because that opening hour sequence is, but. Going back to why I'm going to walk out with my tail between my legs, I'm talking about playing Dishonored 2. I'm talking about how Fallout is some of my favorite. And you asked me who published the game, and I had to look it up. And when I saw Bethesda, I wanted to slam my head into the
Dishonored team, right?
Why did I? It's a Dishonored. Yes, it's a Dishonored team, Arcane. And I'm like, why did I blank on that? So
it's okay. We play for fun.
I will take that trophy though.
Brian, that was
it.
That is the last pass with like 1.2 seconds on the clock in the corner.
The Hail Mary.
And we win the game. No thanks to me at all, but thanks to you, Brian. That was amazing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. It'll get better next time, because we'll have actually a little more refined rules to this, but I thought this would be a good way to end the show. That was
fun.
Keep it lighter in the world of gaming, where it's, there's a lot of bad news. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun with the three of you today. So thank you so much for playing along. And with that, we are done with the show. I appreciate everybody for joining us in our transition to the new era of co-op mode. I hope you had a good time, and we're going to do more fun things to make the world of gaming better and brighter for all of us. So with that, I want to first thank Brian Shea. So excited for the future of Game Informer. So if people want to check out Game Informer, what you're up to, I know you're also a great cook. You're always showing the things and making me jealous. I'm like, I want to make that. I want to eat that. So tell people how they can follow you and the awesome people at Game Informer.
Yeah, you can follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram at Brian P. Shea. It's SHEA. And then GameInformer.com, GameInformer.com/subscribe if you want to get either the digital or the print edition. And then I have the All Things Nintendo podcast, which is Patreon supported, just like this show. So you can check that out wherever you get your podcast. The video version is on YouTube and Spotify. Audio is on every other platform.
So, Brian, one last question. I believe you were running a deal on Game Informer for a while to get it at a cheaper cost. Is that over, or is it still available?
Let me look that up because I know that has fluctuated a little bit. It is currently $59 for the print and digital version, down from $70 a year. Or if you just want the digital version, it's normally $45 a year. It is now $39 a year, but I don't know when that is going to run until. And print is only US only, unfortunately, but digital is available worldwide.
And remember, folks, there's no Power Up Game Rewards with that subscription.
There's no disc. There's no demo disc inside there.
Hey, we are giving away a poster in the next issue. We're bringing back the old school pack-ins. Like there's a poster in from Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I'm glad I said something.
And your covers are amazing. And eventually, maybe if you do like end year end, like actually like having the art as available as like a collection would be an amazing thing to do as well, because your covers are amazing. So thank you so much, Brian. Appreciate it. And it was amazing. I just reached out to you just say, hey, I'm a big fan, and you were kind enough to say, hey, absolutely. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see what happens next with Game Informer. I hope we have to do some awesome local stuff in the Twin Cities area, because it's a great community. So can't wait to see where it goes. Matt, thank you for coming back on again, man. I appreciate it. It's great to have someone to be by your side in a way of talking about games. So appreciate it so much. You're welcome back as often as you want to be. So where can people follow you and watch you do some fun gaming?
Well, thank you for having me, Todd. It's always a pleasure. I enjoyed this very much. MKen10 on YouTube and Twitch. And then, like you guys, Blue Sky. I'm on Threads, and I'm still hitting those mean Twitter streets. But like I've said in the past, I have worked so goddamn hard on creating like an actual like nice thread that I don't see a lot of the mean. But I'm there sometimes. But MKen10 on Twitch and YouTube.
Matt also has a Discord, so check it out if you want to have more conversations with Matt in that group. It's a very cool space to be. For myself, we're at secretfriendsunite.com for all things there. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Discord as well. And the Patreons are a separate channel for them. They get special benefits to ask questions, things like that. We also are on at Blue Sky at Secret Fringe Unite. And also Threads and Instagram at the same. I think they put dots, though, on Instagram, which is kind of weird, but don't know. It's just look it up. You'll find us there. And for myself, I'm at Toxtra on the Instagram and those things from the MetaQuest era. And I'm also at Todd Oxtra on the Blue Sky. So thank you so much for joining us on this journey of gaming. We want to keep it positive, have fun, and, have some good times with good friends along the way. So remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.